And we are live. I'm pretty sure the camera caught that. Look at us in studio. Hey,
What?
Fred.
Hey!
And
look who we haven't, not in the studio, but with us today. I'm really excited about this conversation.
Clearly, I could feel your
Yes.
heart beating.
I know.
against my
I'm so
arm.
close to you today.
No, go put your
No,
arm
I know
back.
it's very close to you. I feel like, hey.
Oh my word. Y'all are in for a treat. Okay. So hello, every beautiful body out there. If you are not familiar with me, my name is Blair G. Herpy. I am the founder and CEO of The Corporate Strategist. And as you can see, I am joined by my colorful co-host, my bestie and soul friend of 20 plus years, D'Angelo Crane. Hi, D.
I am so excited. If you're here in person, like I can touch you and like be like, girl, that's how the whole show. But no, seriously, it's always a pleasure to be here with you, sharing this space with you, and talking with you about whatever we're going to talk about today. It's just such a pleasure that we've had this friendship since we were 3 years old. So it's fantastic.
Oh, I love seeing our guest speaker's face as we talk about how long we've been friends, because the guest speaker that we have today, we are joined by the talented, the critically acclaimed Clark Lewis, honey, talented director, actor, realtor. Hi, sir, and bestie.
Hi.
Bestie, our bestie.
Hey, Dee, we've been. I think me and Dee been friends 27 years. I think y'all had 20. I think we have like 27. I can't remember, but it don't matter.
I'm gonna go ahead and shut down the show now for the lies. But you know what? Thank you for joining us nonetheless. Let's go ahead and get into this conversation about cultivating healthy relationships. But before we do, let's get into the study segment. And
I'm laughing because he's calling me my inside name outside the house. So it's just like you can't call me.
I didn't know I called you. I'm sorry.
That's
That's what friends are for. All right, D, take us to the next segment.
All right. You know what we do here on the Black Diva Collective every day here. We are asking leaders to do the art of the check-in. So we practice that here. And the art of the check-in is really what we're saying. We want you to go a little bit deeper than the regular how you doing today. We want to get to know your employee, your colleague better. Show some empathy, show some vulnerability with them. And the way we do that, like I said, is called the art of the check-in. And so what we do here at the Black Diva Collective, we ask people, we're going to start with our guest, Clark D. Lewis, is how are you feeling today? How's your soul, your mind, your heart?
You know what? I feel really good today. I got up at 6:00 and I cleaned up my bed. You know, I don't leave the house without making my bed. So I cleaned up my bed, threw some clothes on, hit the gym, left the gym, went to 3 different supermarkets. I was actually juicing before the show. So I'm feeling energized. I don't have no food on me, so I don't feel sluggish. I'm feeling good. Mentally, I feel great. I had a great conversation with some friends last night, and we just chopped it up and talked about dating and all this good stuff. So I was able to, flush all that stuff out. So I'm amazing.
I love it. Blair, how's your heart, your mind, your soul today?
Well, I just want to mention that you are only allowed to have one other friend outside of this friendship group. So what friends were you talking to last night? Do tell.
It was some friends I met years ago. Like, this is longevity friendship, and we're good. I mean, sometimes we bump heads, little knick-knack stuff, but we've been friends for a long time.
It was us. All right. So speaking of which, I'm full. Okay. My heart is full. I am so excited to be here with 2 of my favorites. I have so many friends. I mean, I can't count them all. I mean, all the friends that I have, but these 2 guys, they're all right. So I'm so happy to be here with y'all, sharing in this wonderful conversation. But let's get right into it, D. If you don't mind, kick us off.
Yeah, so today we were talking about cultivating healthy friendships. And I think there is something to be said about the intersectionality sometimes with friendships, right? And also the differences, because we know we've had discussions about Black women having gay men as friendships, and what's the energy that those share, what's some of the challenges that sometimes people allow to come in that space, but what are some shared commonalities, right, that those 2 communities share with one another, and the intersectionalities of it. But also just in general, what things do we need to know? How do we need to cultivate healthy relationships in the Black community when we know we are coming to the table with a lot of historical baggage sometimes, and racial trauma, and all these things that happen in our lives, right? How does those sometimes show up in our relationships, and how do we get over those barriers, those challenges, those things that sometimes can be conflictual based on our upbringing, right? And so I think today's show, hopefully it's a little bit more lighter than I went deep right there, but we just want to talk about what we've cultivated here over 40 years of friendship that you're seeing on the phone, right? it's what I'm saying is between the two. I have 20 and 20, so it's
Okay.
over 40 years of friendship on the phone here.
Mhm.
And I can't think of two other people I would rather have in my life than you two when I think about my soul friends. So I just really appreciate, and I have lots of brothers and lots of other people who I call my close friends. When I think about my brother and sister and my like soul friends who hold me down, uh, these people have weathered the storm with me.
Well,
Right?
child, thank you.
Ride or die, as they say,
Honey,
ride or die.
listen, he gave us a good old nasty introduction to that conversation.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. We're excited.
One of the things I want to just point out is that we'll ask Clark more about this. Clark, we want you to introduce yourself, but I think one of the things that's important in friendships is they inspire you. And when I think about a person who has inspired me, probably just as long as you have, Blair, is Clark, because he's one of the people who initially left his hometown and said, I'm going to go follow my dreams. I'm going to go follow my heart. I'm going to go to LA and dive into acting and see what that world is like. And the journey hasn't been always easy, but he stayed committed to it. And so, Clark, tell us a little bit about what you're doing and how did you stay committed and who did you lean on? Now you have to say me, but how did you help cultivate? Who did you lean on to help you through all of that? But tell us about what you're doing, really, because you're doing some major stuff that I want to.
D, just one question at a time.
I know. I like to do. Yeah.
I should have wrote them down, but I think I remember what he was saying in my head.
He's so excited to have us here. Oh, by the grace of God, we are here together.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I really am, and thank you guys for even inviting me. Currently, I'm in pre-production for a new movie. I have a new movie that I am directing. I just released the film last month. It's called Congress in Cali. It is now streaming on Tubi. So that's my first movie that I was a director on. And now my second film, this film is called Sweet Lady. I'm directing this one also. So we're in pre-production. It's really, really busy because we have 45 days to get this movie cast, shot, and edited. So yeah, it's been really busy. But I moved to LA, like you said, some years ago, and I started on stage. I love stage. I will always do stage acting, but it was time for me to move. And I think my audience need to be a little bigger. Stage is whoever can come and see the show. But what we're doing now, the world can see it. So that's what I'm working on now. I'm also doing some real estate. Even though this is my passion, we got to keep the bills paid. So I am a realtor here in LA, where houses are $1 million for 800 square feet. But hey, it is what it is.
And you know what? If anybody can do it, you can do it. I mean,
Come
you've
on.
been doing a lot of things, and not only do you balance all of those things, you balance friendship between us and your other best friend as well, Alicia. So shout out to Alicia, lots of love. Yes. So talk to us about how important friendship is in this particular journey that you're on currently.
I think friendship has, my friends, you two and Alicia, I can say you three for sure, have definitely, like when Didi said, who do I lean on? I lean on you guys. I can talk to y'all about anything. I can call Alicia, cry, say, hey, send me $20. I need some food. As actors, when I first started acting, it was like, I just wanted to act. I didn't have time to work. I had auditions and all this. So it was good to have people to say, hey, if you need something, let me know. So to be able to call your friends and say, hey, I need something, and they got you with no problem. That's beautiful, with you two. When Didi talking about being inspired, my friends inspire me. And I think I'm so inspired because I always feel like I'm on the bottom of, the barrel. Like, all my friends are doing great. Y'all doing amazing things. And sometimes, in this career, it's like, it takes a minute to take off, but when it does, I pray to God, like, I just did my first movie. This is my second movie. And I feel like the momentum is now building. And I see you guys all day. You on your grind, you hustling, you bustling. And I'm like, that's how I need to be with my acting. So you guys really inspired me to get out there and get more projects and do better things.
Love that. Well said. If you don't have a circle who can inspire you, then obviously, what do they say? You're in a cage. I messed that one all up.
I know. I've never heard that one before.
If you're in a circle that's not a square, then it's a cage. Is that how it goes? That doesn't sound right.
I don't know either.
We'll Google it later. Put in the comments if y'all know what quote I'm trying to come up with. But we're grateful that you are a free bird and not in a cage.
Right, and I think that's the one thing I would say you definitely bring to the table. I think we all bring different strengths to the table, and I think in relationships, everyone doesn't need to have the same strengths that they bring to the table. Everyone needs to bring different fluidities to it and different thoughts and different greatness to it, and that's what keeps them cultivating and growing. I remember I was reading an article after during COVID. It was talking about how men had to reimagine their relationships with other men because they were so used to getting together with men and talking about basketball games and things of that nature. Now they were having nothing was going on in the world, so they were having these walks with each other and being vulnerable. Have you found, from a male perspective, have you found being vulnerable in relationships difficult, and how you overcome that when you think about having healthy relationships?
You mean with friends?
Yeah, yeah, because I think it can be difficult. We're not, as men, we're not always taught vulnerability, right?
Mhm.
So is that something that was already innate in you? Are you able to do it? Are you not able to do it? What's been your what's been your journey with vulnerability in relationships and friendships?
I think it comes with trust. Like I cannot be vulnerable with people that I can't trust. So I think that makes it a lot easier knowing that I can let my guards down and really say, "Hey, I am hurting," or or talk about past trauma or something, whatever it is that's close to me. Being vulnerable to let that person inside my life. I think it's all about trust, and I can definitely say I have not done that with a lot of people. I've done it with you too, Alicia. It's about trust. I can't say I don't trust a lot of people, but once you're in this circle, like you're part of my family, we're not even friends anymore. I call y'all my brother, my sister. So when you get that title, you know everything about me. I mean, y'all know pretty much everything about me. So
Yeah, we
um,
can talk about it if you
No,
want
we
to.
cannot, because then you'll talk about what he knows about us. No,
Um,
that's not what we're doing here.
let's move on then.
so vulnerability is all about trust for me. If I trust you, I don't have no problem sitting on the couch and just pouring it out to you.
Lovely. And I see some great comments coming in here. And one just reminded me of Drake's quote, "No new friends."
Mm.
And shout out to the Lawrence here. Yes, we are your people. But we know that there's, some folks out there that would love to interview to be a part of this friendship circle.
Is that Lawrence?
It is. It is. But when I think about, no new friends, at first I was all about that, especially because like what you said, um, it's all about trust. It's all about vulnerability. There's a woman that came to me most recently on Mother's Day. She called me and we had like an hour and a half conversation. And she was like, "Blair, listen, I just want to be your friend. Aside from, the connection that we had through another group of, I just want to be your friend." And I had to be honest. And I was just like, I don't even really know what it feels like or what it means to be a new friend. I've had most of my friends for what, 15, 20 years. I think my newest friend is Karen Foster. I think we've been friends for like 4 or 5 years. So for you, when it comes to cultivating these new friendships, meeting new people, whether it's in the industry or doing the work that you do, or sometimes even rebuilding friendships, or how our friendship continues to evolve, how do you approach reestablishing, recreating, or cultivating even brand new friendships on top of trust?
I can say most of the people I've met in LA has been on set or been, the industry people. And the thing about that is, I think with industry people, a lot, I'm gonna say us, because I'm a part of the industry. A lot of us, connect with people that we can, you know, benefit from first. I hope that don't sound bad, but like if I know someone who's doing a show, or if I know a director or something's going on, I'm like, hey, I normally strike up a conversation, not to be friends, but if it turns out into a friendship, that's great. Because I feel like I have a great circle of friends already. Not saying no one else is welcome, but it's that trusting again. It's like here in LA, I've met a lot of people who linked up to get something, and then they're gone. So it's hard to make friendships for me here in LA. The ones that I have made, we're pretty cool. I think I trust them. It wasn't, we did a show together. After the show, it was like a text, hey, what are you doing? Let's have lunch. And I'm like, wait, the show is over. Like, what are we doing? But they wanted to continue this relationship that we built on set. So I think with that, as long as both parties are willing to, commit to, being honest with each other and really learning about each other and building that trust. But yeah, I don't start a lot of friendships here, to be honest. When I moved here, I was this big old, I was open to everyone, and then for whatever reason, I feel like I'm closed off a little bit now. And that could be because I've tried to create friendships with a lot of people, and I wasn't in a place probably for them to benefit from. Like they was probably thinking, what can you do for me? So it was like, no, It was just like, okay, hey,
Interesting.
yeah.
But you have so much to give and so much to offer. So I can only imagine people are always knocking at your door to share in your space. If nothing else, you definitely make everyone laugh. And so
Oh,
that is a valuable trait as well. So I hope that, in search of relationships or friendships, yes, your trust is important, but those other values that are important to you, whether it's humor, or, having fun, those are things that you're looking for as well.
yes. I'm looking for some friends that know how to cook. If I can find some friends that are good cooks, that'd be amazing. Like they'd be like, hey, you want to come over for dinner? I'd be like, hey, what you cooking? Those kind of friendships. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Yeah.
Blair, I'll ask this question of you, and then we'll go to Clark. What is two things friendship has taught you about yourself?
Ooh, that's a good one. And unprepared and off script. Friendship has taught me. I mean, the first thing that keeps swirling through my mind is, obviously, I'm not perfect, and not that I ever thought I was perfect, but I think friendship reminds me that I don't have to be. I don't have to be everything that I need to myself. And I know people tell you that, especially like when you're in the place for looking for a mate, and they're like, you need to be to yourself, or you won't, your partner to be, and all of that stuff. But my friendships have taught me that, we're a transformer. You have the humor. Like, I laugh more than I ever do when I'm around you too, particularly around Lewis. I eat more than I ever do when I'm around you, right? And when y'all are around me, y'all,
Fashion more.
okay.
Yes.
Looks, honey. Okay. Yes.
I'll take that, and
Yeah.
or even are, maybe challenged a little bit more in some areas, So I would say one of the things is I don't have to be all the things, and you should allow people to be those things for you. I would say the second thing, primarily because most of my very close male or friends are male, I'm including you two and Justin and Fernandez. Y'all raise the bar for the relationships that I have, my personal relationships. So what it's taught me is I'm not going to settle for less in my personal relationships. If my homeboys can take me out to, the best restaurants, or send me money for nails, or, send me here and fly me there, or take me into these spaces, I'm not going to settle for less, because you all have raised the bar just in friendship. So those are my two things.
That's great. Lewis, what about you? What are two things that healthy things friendship has taught you about yourself?
I think one of the things that we talked about earlier was being vulnerable. Like before, I would never really talk about. I would always hold things in. I'll call my mom for anything. Like my mom, I can call and say, "Hey, this is going on. This is going on." But I think as I've grown with friendships, they've allowed me to really put my guards down and be able to lean on friends more, and really talk about what's going on in my personal life. So vulnerability is one of them. And I think the other thing that friendships have taught me is, like one thing Blair said, I don't have to have it all. Sometimes we put on these fronts to be in these different circles. And some of these people know, look, I'm not the one with all the Gucci. I ain't wearing the name brands. I'm not a name brand. I don't like labels like that anyway. But, some people have to try to fit in, and I don't have to fit in with money and with clothes. I come like this.
Come as you are. You should be the third person right here.
You should.
By the way,
right here.
Well, as you
I
are.
wasn't aware you were going to be there. I didn't know nothing about that trip. So.
Oh, okay. Okay. No,
Question, please.
You heard it here live.
Well, what are the two things that you've learned
I
from
knew you was
friendship?
going to ask me this. I was like, oh my goodness. I think it's taught me that each of us need forgiveness, and that's okay. Like, I think there's been times over the years that I have been wrong plenty of times, and though I think I'm the best friend in the world,
Mm-hmm.
right? I had to learn that forgiveness
Mm-hmm.
is okay, and it's
Yeah.
not the end of the world, right? When you're seeking forgiveness and you made a flaw, you can come back from it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm very hard on myself when I do. I think about it for weeks and weeks and weeks about what I've done. So the fact that I can ask for forgiveness, and also that I need to also give forgiveness, right? When we're cultivating healthy relationships, that's a part of the journey. Is forgiveness is all in that, and acknowledging that you've done something wrong. And so I've become, because I've make that a regular behavior, I'm able now to say in my friendships and in my relationship to say, hey, actually, I did, that was not right. I'm sorry. I acknowledge that. And it's not the end of the world. That person's not going to throw me out and say, I'm done with you because I did that one mistake or I made that one offense. Right. Yeah. So I think that's the one thing about forgiveness. And I think the other thing is, it really it has helped me with my self-esteem because I think we see ourselves one way, and we always don't see ourselves in the best light, but it's those friends that come around and they lift you up and they prop you up and they say, no, you can do this, as Blair said, challenge you to look at yourself differently, to look at yourself in a different light, not better, but in a different light, and think about your capabilities that may have only been in your little view, but they see it in this wider view, and they want the best for you. And so how do you start to take that feelings of what your friends are saying about you in your light and your love, and how do you make sure that's internalized as well as it is external to you? So I think that's the other thing I've learned about the greatness that I have. Yeah.
Can I add to, hey, yes. Can I add to that also? I think what's really important is being open and honest. I can go back to last month. Blair came here and we drove to Las Vegas together I had a movie screening in Las Vegas. And I think that was probably the most time her and I has ever really spent just together. And it was just a great trip. And we had a conversation during that trip and she was open and honest. We had an open and honest conversation. And, you have to say, wow, okay, I get it. But if she wasn't being willing to be open and honest about however she was feeling, things I would have never known, or vice versa. So I'm grateful that, we are able to be open and honest and not worry about each other's feelings and say, I feel this way because whatever reason, and you take it and say, oh, well, I love you and I'm going to work on that or whatever the situation may be. So open and honesty is
oh, friends.
Speaking of our last drive together, Lewis and I remember we both broke up with, I think he went through something one day, and I was like, get up, we're getting on the road, and we listened to Destiny's Shout. Someone was singing this at work, so it jogged this memory. Girl,
I can tell you've been crying and you need somebody to talk to.
Yes, we rode all the way to LA, 4 hours, listened to that song to help us see. And that weekend we went and just we cried lots that weekend, and we partied lots that weekend. That was our weekend: eating, crying, partying, eating, crying, partying.
In that order.
Yes, exactly.
I love it.
And but it was a great weekend. The last time we drove together, I think those car rides are always neat because you're just locked together.
Locked.
Yes, and then you are just. It makes you have these really great, rich conversations without distraction because you just have open road. So we got to talk about those things. So yeah.
Or the time we accidentally went on that 6-hour hike. And our phones died. We had no music. We had no snacks. It was just us in friendship. But anyway, so
whose idea was it for the hike?
It was Blair's idea.
Okay.
This if we were playing my game, my friendship game I love. Who's the person who sent you? We were more likely to go on a 13-mile hike.
Yeah, that's it. That was us. So okay, I have a question for both of you about loyalty and love languages. So for me, I feel like both have been learned, particularly throughout friendships as well as relationships. Now, if y'all tuned into the show yesterday, you learned a little bit about D'Angelo and I's story about, losing family members, things of that nature. And I think for me, that impacted what loyalty meant. So what I've always leaned on is our love languages. So what can I do to make sure that this relationship is solid, this friendship is solid? So, if you need food or if you need, trip, quality time or whatever the case may be, then that's how I'll make sure I focus on connecting in that relationship. My question for you is, for some people, when it comes to friendships, that's all that matters is loyalty. Once we say we're friends, we're friends. What is your approach to making sure that you nurture your friendships and making sure they continue to blossom?
That's a good question. I try to be present in my friend's life. I definitely try to be present and know what's going on. That way I can be available, in that space of whatever it is, that's what I can probably think of is just making sure I'm available and I'm aware. All my friends know they can call me, and they do any time of the night. I don't care if they say you sleep, and I'll be like, yeah, what's up? 45 minutes later, we still on the phone, because they know I want to be available because I tell all my friends, no matter what's going on, call me because I hate to have a situation to where one of my friends felt like they had no one to turn to or nobody to talk to, and they took the situation and did something else with it. So I will always be a listening ear, no matter what it is. You can call me and vent. I tell people all the time, I'd rather you dump it on me than hold it in. So that's one thing. I just try to be available and be present.
It's beautiful. What about you? How do you nurture our friendships?
Oh gosh, Lee, that's such a good that's such a hard question. I think it's about, I like what you are saying, that we can't always show up as we show up when we need to or when we're supposed to, right? When it counts, I want to say that, right? Um, I definitely think it's about for me, it's about celebrating people. I think that's what I
Yeah.
really, when I think about nurturing my relationships, I'm all about how can I feed into that person, how can I celebrate them, and how can I help them navigate life as hard as it is, right? And so I think that's really, for me, it's about celebrating people and feeding into them as much as I can. And I don't always do it every day. But what I did try, I don't know, I think I told you all, I have a new thing now, is if I think about somebody and they pop into my head, I'll just text them.
Yeah.
And sometimes when people see that, they're like, oh my goodness. I was like, yeah, you just popped into my head and I need to sit down and send a word to you or whatever it may be, because you're in my brain and in my head. So just, I think, celebrating, and like you said, Lewis, feeding into people. And what you always do is you definitely are present. I mean, I can talk about the countless, we may not see each other for a whole year, but when you come in town for birthdays, y'all don't even understand. This sir has taken care of me. Him and Blair has taken care of me every birthday I can count for the last 32 years. But okay, Blair, what about you before we get out of here?
Um, so especially with the time that I have now, I like to hop on a flight. I want to be there with you. And, speaking of, Clark's trip, well, it was actually a movie premiere. And so I messed up the whole time frame, the whole date.
Everything.
But I was there. But the thing was, I think it was the effort. I got on a flight and I said, what can I do? My fault. I apologize. What can I do while I'm here? And we went from Piggly Wiggly to Save a Lot to the dollar store to Dollar General to get everything that he needed for his premiere. And, I set up a little bit. I slept in the car too, but I was there. I think that was important. And I mean, I hope that that's something that you value as well. Just like now, I was like, I wanted to make sure that I was there for Mother's Day for my son and for my brother and for Ashley, my sister in love, honey. And I was like, well, since I spent $1,000 on a flight, let me make sure
stop on by.
Let me just stop,
right
make
here.
another stop. And so I'm gonna be here with my friend and my other friend here and my two cousins. So I hope that's something that is important to you all, but it's to hop on a flight and be physically in the space.
It is. When I think of my love language is like physical touch. So expenditure. Okay, so we want to have you back, Lewis, because I think we need to. One thing that Blair and I are committed to doing is talking about lots of different topics are impacting us, and friendship is one of those things. But also, we want to talk about representation in Hollywood. We want to talk about. We had lots of subjects that we went over last night. I won't reveal them all. That was our conversation. But if you decide to bring them to the DEIBA Collective stage, we'll talk about them for sure. But we want you to come back on, because I think we need to have more of you. You know what you bring to our life, and we want you to continue to bring it to all the people who are listening, that joy and that laughter, because people need that every day at 12 p.m. 12 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern time. See, this is why she closes out the show, because I can never get it right. But yeah, I just want to say that's what we want, more people who are doing great work like Clark to come on the show. And who are inspiring others in so many different ways. Yes.
The gentleman in the navy blouse in the back.
Thank you so much. I just want you guys to make sure you understand that I have not said not one curse word in 30 minutes. So listen, I got the notes and I said, I'm gonna do my best.
Right, but after the show, he's about to say, as soon as we stop,
y'all So I do want to say this too, for people, whether you're watching on LinkedIn or Facebook, from wherever you're watching. I mean, I love what AP said, that you must have a circle that provides inspiration. When I think about this particular platform itself, I'm grateful. I'm on his case every single day, because I know he did not want to do this every single day, but he's been dedicated and he shows up, if nothing else, not only for the cause, but definitely for me. And I appreciate that support. And I hope he knows I'm supporting his business as well. Clark hopped on this call 20 minutes ahead of this call. Form not filled out, but I'm sure he'll get that done post call. But ready.
The form. I ain't got no form.
If you don't send him that form to fill out to actually be on the show. But he came, you know what I'm saying? He powdered his nose, he put on a good blouse, and he was ready for a great conversation. That's what friends are for. Y'all show up in the clutch, and I respect that. I appreciate that. And if for everyone that's watching and listening, and I hope you all are also being encouraged and inspired by this friendship too. So it allows us to continue to flourish as partners in business and in life as well. Now I know you don't have your usuals. Do you have a shout out for today?
No, but I was gonna say who's gonna be on the show tomorrow. I think I'm gonna start doing that. I think Daphne Rocha is on tomorrow, right? No,
she is. You can look.
I was gonna look and see. Yes.
Oh my gosh! Excuse us today. Oh well, while he's looking that up, quick rapid fire question, and thank you again for joining us, especially at such short notice. Rapid fire question, Clark. Would you prefer to juice or work out? If you could only choose one. Diet or exercise?
Well, I would probably say exercise, only because I think I will get the results that I'm looking for in the gym rather than juicing all day. But I was making this juice when you guys called me 20 minutes ago. Yeah. I was making this juice. So after I left the gym, I was juicing. But if I prefer, I would do the workout.
My quick fire question: who has better music, car ride music, her or me?
Car ride music?
Yes.
Oh. Blair's real hip hop. You know, I'm really old school, gospel. I think me and you, DD, have a concert out of this world. Yes. I think Blair will be going to the bathroom and doing other stuff. But you and I, we rocking for 4 hours.
Yeah, that's true. Because I don't
bears and juice.
I'll be like, who are the Clark sisters again?
Don't tell nobody that. Don't tell nobody that.
Anyway, thank you all for joining us on another fantastic show of the Black DEIBA Collective. As you can see, there's so many different topics that impact the Black community, and we enjoy having you here, watching us, learning from us, listening to us. So if you are anyone who has been impacted by anything in this world, you have a story to share, and we would love to hear about it and love to talk about it. This is a great place to increase cultural sensitivity as well as cultural competence as it pertains to the Black community, from friendship to finances. So make sure you join us every single day, 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every weekday. Yes, sir.
You never had a guest raise your hand through the closing.
I just want to say, who's ever watching, please check out my new movie. It's called Congress and Cali. It is streaming on Tubi right now. So Congress and Cali on Tubi. It's a great movie. Yeah, please show support and check it out.
We got to get you here to DC to do a showing. Like, we got to figure that out.
We would love that.
Yeah, we got to make that happen.
We love y'all. We got to go. Have a great afternoon. We could talk all day. Bye, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.